Well, hey everybody, I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a rune and tarot divination from Monday, the 30th day of September 2024. Well, here we are at the end of the month. I don't know how cold it got out there last night, but I know we put a heater inside one of the greenhouses for the peppers. They're still not completely ripe. So my Hungarian paprikas have done well. I've got quite a few of those, but very few of the Thai peppers, and they're the really long ones this time. And I'm going to bring them in the house and let them finish out here, I think, over the next month or so. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. And we have Vunyo today to begin the reading. From the Elder Futhark. Vunyo is the 8th rune of the Elder Futhark. It's the wish rune. It means joy and happiness and fellowship and peace and success, happiness. I think I said happiness already. So we start out on a positive note anyway. Let's see what the Geomancy runes can do to challenge that or support it on the below side. Okay, we'll put these in the order of fire, air, water, and earth. Oh, a new path toward peace and fulfilling our wishes. We have Vaya. There's Vaya right here. Vaya is all active. When you see a single dot on any level, the 4 levels here on the Geomancy runes, you're looking at an active energy versus passive. 2 dots would be passive, so its complement would be populace. So whereas populace would be following along with the crowd, with Vaya, you're taking the initiative to begin a new path. And, right now we're kind of in this place, especially in this country, where we're making that decision of where are we going to go? Are we going to fall into fascism and authoritarianism, or are we going to move forward in unity and harmony and elevating society in a way that we've never done before? So I think that for me that the choice is clear, but maybe for others they're making a different choice. And so again, are we going to be involved in peace and fellowship and success that's based on that? Or are we going to circle the drain essentially? Because that's really the two choices now. There's no subtlety here in this. And so whatever path we choose to begin is going to make all the difference. Maybe for people that, if it goes the negative way, which timeline, you might look at it that way. Which timeline are we going to be on? Are we going to be on a positive one or a negative one? And all signs point to positive. So I'm very hopeful that that's the direction we go here. But let's go ahead and take the cards for today. We have 2 cards from the Major Arcana and 1 from the Suit of Pentacles. Now, Vunyo is also an earth element. Pentacles is earth element. Here you have 2 kinds of transformation with the Magician and Death. And then we have the 10 of Pentacles in the center. Let's go ahead and do the numerology for the reading here. The overall one, if we have an 8 for Vunyo, we have a 1 for the Magician, plus 10 for the 10 of Pentacles, and 13 plus 13 for the Death card. Let me do that again. That's 32. Let's do it one more time. Plus 1 plus 10 plus 13. Yep, 32. 32 reduces to 5. Let me write that down here so I don't forget. 5 is about, again, it's about change. It's about protection, freedom versus restriction. And so whether this is a society-based thing, a country-based thing, or an individual thing here today, you have a choice to set a direction in your life to be happy and to seek fulfillment and to live in harmony with other people and fellowship with other people, to live in joy. Joy is another key word for, along with the wish rune, but joy is Vunyo. And So are you going to live there, or are you going to choose to stay on the one you're on, or to choose a different path entirely? But it's an intentional choice. And so the intentional choice to be happy and joyful and live in harmony and peace and fellowship and happiness and success with others. So how do we manifest that here? We manifest it in balance. Basically, when you look at the magician here, one of the things you'll notice about the card is you'll see the table in front of him, and it's got a pentacle, a sword, a wand, and a cup, which represents the four suits of the tarot. But it also represents the four elements: earth for pentacles. Cups is water, swords is air, and represents fire. You see, the magician is he's got here you have an Ouroboros essentially surrounding his waist in the form of a belt, if you will. You see the snake actually grabbing onto its tail there. So there's no half measure there. He's all in. You have the lemniscate or figure 8 above his head, which indicates the cyclical nature of things and eternity as well as eternity. He's holding a wand pointing up to spirit, and his other hand pointing down to physical reality. So he's drawing in higher awareness into what he manifests. All in balance, all in elemental balance. And so if you're looking at this in terms of the three initial cards of the tarot, you've got the Fool that takes its leap into form, that represents a soul taking its leap into form, and the magician then through the magician manifests its reality, manifests the physical body, where he's going to be, where the Fool will be living, he or she will be living, what family the Fool goes into, is born into, and all of that. What the plan is going to be, that the soul chooses before coming into form, what that's going to look like, at least the big pieces of it, the overall picture of it. And that's what the magician is basically manifesting here. It's the development of the will. It's living in some kind of alchemical balance. It's the life force. It's inspiration. But mostly it's how are you manifesting? And in this case, with the magician, we're talking about manifestation from spirit. As the one card, that's the first step in all of that. And then you go to the high priestess, which makes up the triumvirate or of experience there between the Fool, the magician, and the high priestess, where she's manifesting the subconscious realm that the soul basically connects to, as well as to the physical reality, infuses itself into that as well. But it sort of sits in the background because typically we forget that we're souls, and then as time goes on, we have to remember that. And so that's kind of where we're at. We're in this pattern of or path of remembrance, and maybe that's what Vunyo and Vaya are also talking about, remembering who we are as souls, that this is the time to ascend to that type of awareness, as opposed to physical ascension maybe is a little bit different, but the spiritual ascension is just recognizing who we are as spirit. So what are we going to manifest? We're going to manifest joy on this new path. And then before I do, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the death card first. We'll get those two out of the way, the two major arcana cards out of the way first. So here we have one type of manifestation on the new path, and here we have some transformation that takes place with death. Yes, we see the king on the ground, and the queen is here. She's crying, and you've got a little child here who's blowing. It looks like he's blowing a horn, but I'm not certain about that. I'm not certain what this little, I'll have to look and see if somebody else has come up with what this little piece is. But it almost seems like he's blowing the horn, signaling the death riding through on the white horse. You see the flag there, the black flag with the white inverted rose. Instead of having the star shape here be with this being pointed to spirit, here we have it now being pointed pointed down into physical reality. So there's been a transition of sorts. In this case, a death of the king. Over here, though, you see the red boat here on the river. You see probably coming to get the king's soul, and then you have the two towers over in the distance here with the sun rising between them. And so what death really signals is a transformation of awareness, if you will, a transformation of purpose as well. And so you're looking at change and opportunity and transition and a sense of rebirth. And so with Vunyo and Vaya, perhaps you can think of that also, not only manifesting joy and a joyful new path, if you will, but also what is that transition that you're making? Maybe this is not something that is just a given in your life already, and maybe you have to transform something about yourself to make you embrace the idea of Vunyo in your life. You see the value of it. Maybe you've felt a loss or adrift or involved in something negative, and you realize, that's really not what I want for my life. So there's two different things happening here. You could in fact start with the death card and move to the magician, to where you transform something about your life and understand the need for joy and higher awareness and manifesting that in your life. And then you do that with the magician. But along the way, you have the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles, it's almost like you come full circle. Here you have, I believe, a transfer of legacy. You see the older man here, maybe the king, maybe not. You don't see a crown, but you do see the coats of arms here for the family. You see all of his life reflected on this quilt that he has over his shoulders, which has some of the... looks like some of the family crests or the coat of arms, different things like that. You also see the abundance with the grapes down here at the bottom. His two dogs here are by his side. And you see probably his son or daughter or both underneath an archway there. You see an arch. And beyond that is either the town or the home or the castle or whatever. It could be just his home. And what the sense is that there's a passage of legacy between the older man and the two younger people here, to where they're going to be the ones taking the reins. He's gone through the entire tree of life from the Kabbalah, and he has found himself down here, where I actually found my cheat sheet that I made. I got it from something else, and I did my own, because it was so I could just have a piece of paper, and I left it in the living room, of course. But it shows where on the Tree of Life where all the major arcana cards fit. And so it's kind of an interesting thing to think about from that standpoint. But anyway, I'll remember to bring it in here and keep it in here for next time we meet on Thursday. But anyway, essentially, it's that transition. If you don't want to see it as a passage of legacy, but even if you do, maybe he's come to the realization that it's time to give. It's time to let go of my control of things and allow, to give that over to my children, and to allow that transformation and that transition to take place so he can begin a new path, and so can they. So you can see some of that there, the love and the joy of doing that, of if you're older and you have adult children, and you start thinking about those things. What am I going to give them? What am I going to give them now? Not wait to give them, but give them now. I had when my youngest graduated he hadn't graduated yet, from college. I decided to give him, I had a very nice guitar. It was a Martin D28, and I was given it when I was 14 for Christmas, and I learned to play it and all of that. But then I stopped, and my son decided to play guitar. My youngest did, and he taught himself, and he's extremely good. He's extremely good with it. And so, anyway, but I decided I was going to give that to him, and of course he came and got it before he actually graduated, but because he wasn't going to wait, he just couldn't, because he was so excited about having that very nice guitar, and now I don't even know how many guitars he has, just a ton of them, but it's that idea of feeling happiness and joy at being able to give to someone you love something that you love, right? And to see that legacy pass. So there's a sense of joy and fulfillment of doing something like that for somebody that you care about and love, and so we have this chance to, I think with this reading, it's signaling this chance to move in a different direction, or strengthen that direction if we're already on that path, where we live in joy and harmony and fellowship and love with one another. And whether we decide to do this, first there's a transformation of some kind, we can start there. And then the passage of legacy goes on to the younger people. We can do that, and then we can manifest from there, from higher awareness, this pathway to love and happiness and joy and fellowship and unity with others. So maybe this is, given that this is the last day of the month for September, maybe this is something we're to think about going forward. Over the next little over a month, we're going to be making just a big decision, especially in this country. We're going to be making a really big decision about what path we're going to take and what path we're going to take in our lives, because you do something like that from the macrocosm, essentially, it manifests in the microcosm. And so are we able to then move forward in alignment with that bigger principle of unity and diversity, essentially, unity in with individual differences, and having them enhance our lives instead of being at odds with everything, and having this energy, this influence that is so divisive and harmful and cruel. I mean, it's just sadistic. That's what it is. And to live in that energy is not healthy. It's not wise. It's not the thing that the soul was ever destined to do. It's one thing for the soul to experience and then go, ooh, I don't like that. Yeah, there's a reason why we don't live that way, that level of harmony in the collective consciousness, right? Because that's just pure love. Well, we need to at some point manifest that love on earth. And so, the whole kingdom of God and, on earth, essentially, we can do that, or we can continue down the road of division and harm and cruelty. Because that's all that the other side has to say now. And it's like, well, something transformative is about to happen, perhaps. And if so, can we all get on that bandwagon and let go of the negativity and let go of the hurt and let go of the harm that it's done to everyone, whether directly or indirectly? And can we then move forward in a way that is in peace with one another, and in love and in harmony and respect and dignity, and fellowship? Again, not saying that we are all the same, because we aren't, but we all have something to bring to that experience and to that moment, and hopefully that's what we're going to be seeing going forward here. So again, Vunyo is deciding the path, and the transformation that needs to happen, the passage of legacy onto others, that joyful legacy onto others, and reinforcing that transformation, and then manifesting that from higher awareness in our lives. So I think ultimately I'm going to, when I write this up over on the blog at Stepping Aside, I'm going to the picture I'm going to take is going to begin with death, then move to the 10, and then move to the magician. So we'll do that. And again, with the overall numerology of 5 for the reading, you're really talking about, profound change. It'd be more fun if it was a 22 and there'd be profound soul level change. But we'll take the 32 and it reduces to 5 and it's still positive. So again, positive change in our lives. I mean, wouldn't that be lovely that we could drop all this other stuff, and whether you're talking about just this country or the different things that are going on in the world where people are just being harmed by their governments, and harmed by people that have only their personal interests in mind and what they're doing. This is a time, I know astrologically, where something big is going to happen and something powerful. People's hearts are changing. People don't want the negativity. They don't want to feel like there's harm around the corner. They don't want to have to worry about going to the grocery store and what could happen. And it touches every phase of our lives. And we don't need that. And I think that today's reading is showing us that this transfer of legacy can be a legacy of love and harmony, and peace and unity, instead of the hate-filled stuff that we're seeing now. It's hard to even turn on the television anymore and watch the news, or to be anywhere where you see it, because it just feels awful, and it brings you down into a depression you don't need to be in. You have to be strong and not allow that, even if it means turning things off and getting off social media and things like that, so it's not bringing you down emotionally. This is a positive time where we can take the positive pathway, the positive timeline, if you want to think of it that way, and let go of the negativity and the destructive nature of all that it brings to everything that it touches. And so, again, let the death of the other path take place. Let a new one begin with the sun there, and finish out the lessons learned, essentially, from this time thus far, that has shown us, and then move forward into positive manifestation. So anyhow, that's it. Thanks for watching. Everything came out on the blog over at Stepping Aside. The web address there is imsteppingaside.com. Click on more below the video and a window will open, and it's right up there at the top. If you scroll all the way down past what I wrote, then you'll see the social media sites I'm on, or sometimes I'm just quickly scrolling through and then setting aside right now. And then check out the forecast for the week, the correspondences for work and magic, the astrological overview, and the herb magic. I think this time is it chamomile? Yeah, chamomile. Chickweed is next week. So the things you can do in workings and rituals with various herbs is what I wrote a book called Herbal Magica. In fact, I think there's a link in that section where you click on more. I think when you scroll down, you'll see, I think Herbal Magica's a link to that is there. And it's just a book that talks about that, the different correspondences for the different medicinal plants that are out there. And I've also got in there what the medicinal usages of them are as well. So that's on there. A link to buy that is there. If you want to, it'll take you over to, there's two different links. It takes you to a variety of booksellers. One does, and then there's an Amazon link there. But anyway, that's where that comes from. Excuse me. Is just taking a look at the different herbs you can use in magical workings and things. So anyhow, that's also up, and I guess that's it. That's all I have to tell you about. An annular solar eclipse is on the 2nd. What day is the 2nd? The 2nd is Wednesday. So we have a new moon and an annular solar eclipse on that same day. So that's coming midweek. So that'll be fun. So I guess that's it. Thanks for watching. Click subscribe if you haven't. I'd love you to do that. And come back again on Thursday for another edition of As Above, So Below. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.